Well, welcome everyone to our Tuesday night presentation. We are excited that you are here. If you are here for the first time or you're here taking another look at us, we are glad that whoever invited you to this Zoom trusted us to present tonight. This is the Trifecta Group on behalf of the Bedrock leadership, and whoever invited you is part of that Bedrock leadership. And so tonight we hope to do a good job in that trust. We want to let you know that we are going to go through a little bit talking about what this blood test is doing, how we're changing. I'm sorry, guys. I've got that waiting room just blood just filling up. So y'all keep filling it up there. But tell you what we're doing and why we are excited about something that is changing the face of the industry and offering truth and transparency that we really do need in this space. So we're going to go through some science. We're going to talk about what's happening and how you can know the number that most people don't even know about, but people are starting to talk about. And then at the end, we are going to let you, if you came for the first part of the presentation and you say, hey, I don't know, maybe they bribed you with a free steak dinner. I don't know. Something you grab your steak and run. But we're going to open it up at the end for a little bit of business opportunity and just why we're excited about the future of Zinzino. So just so you know how tonight's going to go, I am Chastity Marie, and I have the privilege and honor of introducing my business partners, Barry Hughes and Ariana Kane, both from Canada. And collectively, we have all been in the industry for well over a decade, leading and growing teams worldwide, and have had the privilege of an opportunity to see shifts happen. And we are excited about what's happening in this space right now. So, once again, thank you for being here. Thank you for your time. And Ariana, are you on with us?
I am. Luckily they're going to see the slide deck and not me so much in my car, but I'm here.
Well, thank you. She is joining us remote, and one thing we love about this space is when you can connect to Wi-Fi, you can connect. And so we're going to hear from Ariana. She is a certified life coach, certified holistic nutritionist. So no better friend and partner to start us off and kick us off tonight.
Well, thank you. I'm super excited to be here. One of the things we were talking about earlier today is this, I used to believe in like Wi-Fi and a dream. I still do. I'm like, except that when you don't have Wi-Fi, you're screwed. So as long as we got Wi-Fi, we can be from anywhere. And I really do. One thing I love most is that we're able to build our business around our life. My son is involved in club volleyball. It feels like it takes up all the time, but I wouldn't be anywhere else. So I'm so grateful to be here tonight. Do you want to just flip back to that first slide? Because I'd like to talk about this idea of the future. I was thinking about this today. I hope that you guys know, anyone that's here, first of all, welcome guests. I see some of the chat blowing up there, and the guests that have trusted us with their time. Time is like my greatest asset, and so we want to make sure that we do our best to make sure your time is well spent with us tonight. But I was thinking today about this, the future of personalized health. I'm a health nut. I've been in this space. I've been in direct selling and social selling for 21 years, but particularly in the health and wellness space for probably the last 11. And I've been an athlete and in health and clean living my whole life. But what's interesting is there's a quote that says, yesterday's home runs don't win today's games. And I was thinking about this today because just because something has been done a certain way before doesn't mean it should be done that way any further. And that's what happens in the word innovation. When you have people that go, hey, is there a better way? And what I learned, right when you think you know a lot, but what I learned about 3 or 4 months ago about this, about what they were doing, it was just one of these. It just made sense intellectually, intuitively, innovatively. And so I'm just grateful to be able to share a little bit of that story with you tonight. So next slide. So one of the things that was interesting is that now there's every once in a while, some information comes where you almost judge time by it. You're like, hey, there was a time before I knew that thing, and now I judge time by after I know that thing. And that's how I feel about this test-based nutrition. Zinzino, it was like, hey, there was a time where you just kind of hoped things would work. You really want to believe that they're working, but when do you like, do you actually know? And someone who's taken supplements for a long, long time and knew, like I knew that we needed to because we're not getting it from the foods. However, did I actually know what's going on in my body? And that's just not the case. And so the idea of being able to test something to see if you actually need it, and then take something that could solve that problem and then test again so that you know, was this concept now that I can't kind of unlearn or unsee. The reason is this: there is what you'll see at the top of the slide. It says a hidden health crisis. I don't know about you, but I don't think that hidden and crisis should ever be in the same sentence. Like, wouldn't you want to know that something's going on? Because we can't know, or we can't really solve a problem that we don't know exists. And so your own health, ought not be the best kept secret. It's something that should be fully transparent. At least for me, I would want to know. I'm as Chastity said, I'm a holistic nutritionist. I could actually geek out on this stuff, but just from really simple terms, I think that most of you know more than you think you do, in that it's conversational, but you maybe not be able to kind of dig deeper. But there is something called essential nutrients. We all know they're like, eat your veggies, vitamins, minerals. And we know about vitamins and minerals, but there's also something you probably have heard of omega-6s and omega-3s, but they're called essential fatty acids. And this is how it works. They're called essential for a reason. Why they're called essential is not just because they're important and vital, but your body needs them in order to function optimally. So your body needs it, but it can't make it, and so it requires that you get it. Omega-6s are an essential fatty acid that are called inflammatory fatty acids. They're not bad. The omega-6 and the 3 are equally as important in our bodies in the processes and the importance that they have. Inflammatory. It's a pro-inflammatory oil. It's how you actually heal yourself from a virus, acute inflammation. You cut yourself. Your body knows it's in trauma. It needs some help. So it's an inflammatory oil. Then there's omega-3. Omega-3 is the same thing. It's essential. Your body needs it. It doesn't make it. It requires that you get it from the food that you're eating. And it is an anti-inflammatory essential fatty acid. Both of these play essential roles in your body, and they ought to be in perfect balance, if not, and this is probably the number you didn't know, they ought to be 1-to-1, 2-to-1, or kind of ideally on the higher end, 3-to-1. So there are certain markers in our bodies and things going on that are important. I think I'm a sucker for a good true story or going to the movies, but the best true story you could ever know is what your own blood would tell you about your own self. Not Chastity's health horoscope, not my health horoscope, your own health horoscope. The information available in your blood is unbelievable, and but this is what the most important number that you probably didn't know you need to know is this ratio that your own blood can tell you between omega-6 and omega-3, to know your own number. And that's really the question. If you know that there's a test available that could showcase your own number, would you want to know? Would you want to know your number, to know if you're ideally a 3-to-1, 2-to-1, 1-to-1, or closer to the average that you see there in red? This is the average that's happening in the world right now. It's 25-to-1. That ought not be. The slide tries to show you a little history of this. Our actual DNA, our DNA default setting would be a 1-to-1 marker, and our DNA these omegas don't make your DNA, but they do form the cell membrane, and that cell membrane health is everything. It's the cell's function. It's the cell's signaling. It helps protect your DNA. It helps like the communication between your cells and your body. So you might not need to know a lot about health other than if I asked you, hey, if you had a choice of your body working optimally or your cells being able to work optimally or not, I don't think most of us, it's an obvious choice, but there was, in history, we were eating closer to a 1-to-1 ratio when it was the hunting and gathering era of life. But as you all know, and I don't need to tell you, the modern day, they call it the sad diet, right? It's the standard diet is a sad diet but mainly it's this. It's particularly seed oils. Everything that's made with omega-6s, all of our salad dressings, all of our fried foods, all of our fast foods, all of the boxed crackers and cans, and all the processed foods are using the oils that would be considered inflammatory omega-6 oils, and that is leading to this health crisis where I love a good picture. You'll see on this slide a cell. What we have 30 trillion cells. You have 30 trillion cells, and each one of those cells has a wall. And those walls of your cells are made with the essential fatty acids available in your body at any given time. And when your cells are trying to repair or make their cell wall, if you only have omega-6 inflammatory oils readily available in your body, your cell wall will be made by that with that. And so instead of being this lipid, soft, fluid, bouncy cell that can let nutrients in and let metabolic waste out and communicate the way it's supposed to and function optimally, it's more like a little creme brulee, crusty, harder cell. And just me saying that out loud intuitively doesn't sound good. But I'm a big yogi, and in yoga they talk a lot about instead of trying hard, try easy. And that's what we want our cells to be able to do, is to be able to try easy. And when they're working optimally, that's what they can do. This is just a slide of balance. What we're trying to do, you guys, is have people be back in balance. I think, again, figuratively, literally, all the things, this makes sense. But when our bodies are out of balance, or even a building is out of balance, when your body's out of balance, everything else is trying to make up for that. And so this is ideally what we're trying to do. This obviously, this is what they're talking about, the hidden crisis. It's not what you can see, it's what you can't see. And again, the idea that there is an innovative way for you to know what's going on underneath the iceberg, underneath the layers of your own blood. Underneath, in this picture, I would say that all that chronic inflammation is happening. So the biggest thing right now that we'll all hear about is acute inflammation is your friend, but chronic inflammation is not. And when you have too many omega-6 inflammatory oils in your body, then the state in which is your body's functioning is not ideal. Next slide. Do you want to talk about these tests, Barry? Because I know you're as passionate as me about kind of what they've been doing in order to, in my world, save the world. Do you want to talk about this one?
Absolutely. So thank you, ladies, and welcome to all the guests. My name is Barry Hughes. I'm in Kelowna, British Columbia, Canada. Been retired for a while, but came out of retirement when I saw what was going on here. Realistically, what got me excited was the fact that my background lies in pharmaceutical medicine and medical equipment and devices. And I learned a lot about science and how the world perceives really what's important and what's not important. And the funny part is I was asking my doctor about this last week. I got a brand new doctor, mine retired, and I got a brand new doctor. And I asked him about this very topic, omega-6 to 3s. And he said, he didn't really know a lot about it. And I said, why is that? It seems like, when I showed him some data and I said, it seems like this is something we should really be more aware of. He said, I agree. So, we didn't have that for, I guess, out front to show you. So what this company went ahead and did is they went and analyzed 1.7 million plus people so far, and they found out this. This is what we've learned after 1.7 million people have taken this test globally. Then 97% was out of balance. Well, what's that mean? Well, if you're a guy like me and your dad died at 54, way too young from heart disease, what if this test would have been around to let him know that his omega fats were way out of whack and that it was causing massive inflammation to his heart and his internal organs that are vital for his life? And if he'd have known that, maybe we could have prevented a disaster. And that's what really captured me, is how many of you, have family that you've lost to heart disease. Realistically, it's this, guys. Everybody should take the test. 100% of us should take it, but most of us fail. Next slide. So, would you like to find out your test results? That's a really loaded question, because what would stop you from finding out your test results? If you had something, we always say, well, prove it. We're dealing in a world right now on social media where people are making claims all over the map. And what I'm finding is this: trust is at an all-time low, because people really want proof. They want certainty. They want to be able to stand behind what they believe in and what they say. And I think that's just not the case anymore. So test, don't guess is our motto here. And it makes a lot of sense. And this is actually a good friend of mine. If you don't believe in testing, look at these numbers. This is crazy. This guy's just turned 50. He's a two-time NCAA Div 1 football champion with the famous Nebraska Cornhuskers under Tom Osborne, one of the top coaches to ever coach football. This guy, you can see him at 50, I wish I looked like that at 20, let alone 50. Look at this guy. He had a secret though. His cells were in horrible health. And this is a guy who prides himself. He's got his own supplement company. He's got his own personal training business. He doesn't just train elite athletes, he trains the trainers who train the elite athletes. And this guy models everything you should do as far as staying healthy. Yet look at his cellular health, unbalanced at 42 to 1. This is potentially catastrophic for somebody who does not know that they're in this trouble. And why? Because he believes in eating well and nutritional value and also taking supplements to fill in his gaps. And we found out that because his cells weren't really able to receive the nutritional value of the supplements or the foods he was eating, because the cells themselves become hard like a golf ball. They can't penetrate, the nutrients can't penetrate it, and the waste can't be eliminated from the cells. And that causes massive inflammation. In fact, chronic inflammation, which most of us had after just 8 weeks. So Todd's a guy who likes to open up his Christmas presents before Christmas. So he didn't wait the 4 months that we normally recommend to wait. He waited 8 whole weeks. That's it, 8 whole weeks. He said, Barry, I want to tell you something. I think I even got fatter and I ate worse during those 8 weeks. And yet, look what happened. He went from an unbalanced 42 to 1 to a balanced 2.9 to 1 in just 8 weeks. He says, hey, my brother owns a Burger King, Barry. I ate at Burger King 5 days a week while I was, in these 8 weeks period because it's free. And that's what I can, really wanted to eat. It was convenient because he's a sales guy. Awesome results for Todd. Now, how can you get involved? Test your cell health for an oil and the balance test. You can see what we do is we give you your oil, we give you your test on the first week you order it. You'll be getting a 177 cost to Canadians, and you'll be getting a 127 US cost to our American friends. Now, what do you get for all this? First of all, you can cancel any time. You're not bound to any contracts. There's no worries there. You're going to get a starter kit, which is a balance oil, so you can test, not guess. You can know your omega-6 to 3 index score. And then about 4 months, you're going to go on the oil protocol. So you're going to take the balance oil daily. And then after that, you're going to get sent a secondary test to actually prove your results, just like Todd did. So just what Todd modeled, except for you're probably going to wait the 4 months. You're probably not going to get your test in 2 months. That is the magic here. We test, we don't guess. One other thing I love, and I'm going to wrap it up and I'm going to send the next part to Ariana, is this. Balance oil, the innovation is, some of you might be saying, well, I'm already on an omega-3. I'm already taking fish oils. I've been on this stuff my whole life. Well, do you know it works? I pause for a reason because you should be thinking about it. Do you know that anything you're ingesting is really working? Do you know that your supplements are working? Do you know these medicines and these protocols that we put ourselves on to try and get better lives are working? Well, we know ours does because we test for it. And here's why. First of all, we use 60% wild caught fish, ultra purified, sustainably sourced fish, no problems there. Secondly, they realized that fish wasn't alone because as time has evolved, the polyphenols in our fish are diminishing. They're not present to the extent they were before. And because of that, we have low absorption. We have high levels of oxidation. We have lower potency in the oils. We have a shorter shelf life, and we end up with not pure oil. You're taking oil that's usually petrified, it's putrid, and it stinks. And anybody who's ever taken it, if you get those fishy burps, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So how we combat that? We know we're not getting those in the fishes that we used to. So we've got now pre-harvest olives. Pre-harvest olive polyphenols are the highest source of polyphenols that we know for the antioxidants that are lost in the fish oil refinement. So really, really valuable to show you why this oil is working better than all the other oils, and we prove it. Next slide, and Ariana, take it away.
Well, thank you. My favorite thing is to talk about the good news story. I am someone who took an Omega Q as a CoQ10 for almost every day, minus maybe a few misses for about 11 years, and I failed the test. And I think what I love most is that we can all agree this. All things are not created equal. I remember my kids getting all upset that they broke the toy that they bought at the dollar store. And I was like, well, it was $1. So some things, but just like anything, there's certain cars and pens and food. All things are not created equal. And it's the same with this. I don't think that I would be as excited to tell you about this test and to take it and to be excited to have you fail if I didn't know, like I know, that there's a solution. We're not here to sell you fish oil. We're here to solve the world's biggest problem with a product that is working, not because we say so, because your own blood will tell you so. And I think that's really exciting. That every once in a while someone questions something. So the same reason, why is 97% of the planet failing this test? Well, maybe the oils that we think are working aren't. And somebody way smarter than me said, what if? I want you guys to know that there's not a single thing in nature that is isolated. Like when you're taking vitamin C, there's not a fruit, there's not a vegetable that only has vitamin C. It has trace minerals and cofactors and fiber and all the things. So someone said, hey, wait a second, I think the fish oils are missing some polyphenols that are the most potent antioxidants always present in most of the food that also has omega-3. When someone had that aha moment and said, let's just see, well, guess what? It wasn't just a moment, it was a eureka moment, and it worked. And now you get to know like you know. I think that taking supplements that don't work might just be the most expensive habit we could ever have. And so this is exciting. So the customer experience, like Barry said, I think the slide just recaps it. You get on you take the test, send in that number, start taking the oil. They send you another test after 120 days cellular turnover. Some people cheat and do it earlier because they can't wait, but how exciting that it's working anyway. But you'll get another test just so that you know and can feel totally solid that the choice that you made to be on this solution is a good one. I want you to know that I'm not here excited about blood tests. I'm not here excited about fish oil. What I'm excited about is solving the world's biggest health crisis, which is underlying chronic inflammation, with a product that actually works and that you can know it does. So, Barry, I know you're passionate about this customer promotion, so how about you talk about that?
Well, great. Thanks, Ariana. I am passionate about this because when there's value on top of value, I think that's when most consumers act. And we have a promotion until our April the 15th right now. So this is speaking to the people here who maybe, we run this as a business and a customer acquisition model. So we do both. I'm a customer and I chose to partake in a business model here. You get to choose you. But right now, for the customer focus only on April 1st to the 15th, there's a promotion going on. And really, it's like this. You can spend anywhere from 40 euros all the way up to a couple of €100 to get yourself free cash that you can use the next month. And here's an example I'm going to give you. Now, you guys can read through this and we can provide you with this data. But realistically, here it is. Let's say you ordered the balance test. As we said, it was 177. Right? We saw that in Canadian dollars and 127, I believe, in US dollars. You order the test. Now, in Canada, that comes to 177. Well, if you hit a number just above that in the 180s, you will get a $60 rebate. You can see it right down there, 120 euros, which works into 138 US dollars, which is more in Canadian dollars. So when you look at that, I've done the math. You need 200, if you got a premium oil and a balance test, that would bring you to $203. But here's the kicker. So you get your test in your first month and you pay $203 total. But the next month, you will get an in-store credit for 60 euro, right? 60 euro. Plus, you'll get your shipping back, which is another 22.43 or something like that. Total of about $82 to $90, which means you're not only going to get your test and your oil in month one for not 203 really, because in month two, you're going to get a free oil because you've got enough money banked already and you're going to have some left over for the following month. So in reality, you're paying far less. It's a massive, massive benefit right now to act on this prior to April 15th. I've never seen them run an offer like this so far for the customer only. This is a 2-week offer and I'm shocked because really it's giving you your second month absolutely free and also paying into your third month because we get reimbursed for our shipping. So in month 3, again, you'll receive a shipping credit. This is massive to the customer who is really watching their pocketbook, but wants to try the protocol and wants to get involved at the most minimally invasive level possible right now. So this is a great time for you to try. And Wynn's mentioned as well. You can either go with a premium oil or you can add a secondary product. So, there's ways to achieve this and whoever invited you here can support you to walk you through that. Next slide, please. So, really is the timing right for you? Let's face it, in this world, everything comes down to timing. And, I know that firsthand because I wish I would have invested in Facebook and Microsoft and all these other things that I thought were never going to be big. Anybody on this call ever thought, well, Bitcoin's never going to $100,000? They're crazy. These guys, conspiracy theorists, don't know what they're saying. Yet $138,000 later, there went Bitcoin. Well, I think that's massive for us to look into what we could really do with this. Company overview. I'm going to pass this one back to you, Ariana. Oh, you're muted.
Well, I think this is a great time just for those of you that came on and wanted to know about what your friends were excited about, what we're up to, want to know your number, are excited about the solving a problem, or at least just first knowing that you have a problem. That's the portion of that our presentation, our overview tonight is done. So we're just going to have a few more slides and just have a bit of a business discussion. I'm excited about that because I'm in health and wellness, and for a long time I just wanted to create a life that was around my family and my life, which I knew was e-commerce and online business and health and wellness and coaching. And so business, though, is simply having a product or having a service that people need or want. Think about all the businesses you know that either have a product or they have a service that people need or want. If you believe that what we just talked about tonight is something that people need, then that's a pretty good first clue as far as business. But for those that were on that want to just know about that, we're giving you permission to leave. We're going to have a business discussion because we always are have two hats in our life. There's a consumer hat where we're like, yeah, sure, I'm in. I want to first be my own testimonial, be my own consumer, be my own testament of what I'm a part of. But then there's a business hat where you go, wait, if I'm as excited about that and I want to know that, then maybe there's someone else who would too. So that's what we're going to talk about quickly here. There's a business to this, and here's the other reason why. You'll notice that we told a bit of a story. You'll notice that there was a bit of a background. You'll notice there was a bit of an explanation. And whenever something has a product, or a product has a story or requires a little bit of an explanation, that product can't tell that story or do that explanation from a shelf. It can't sell itself. And so companies use, still to this day, the most powerful form of advertising, which is a trusted referral and a warm referral. And so that's how Zinzino is getting this word out. They've chosen to use relationships and word of mouth and these types of overviews as their distribution model. And let me tell you something, it's working. This company has grown 193% since 2020. They are a publicly traded company, which I love, not for the numbers, but for the transparency. When you're a publicly traded company, everyone that's a part of that gets to know how you're doing, how your financials are. And they have now just did $363 million last year in sales. The year before 2024 was 204 million. That is a massive growth from 204 to 363. And it's not commercial real estate, and it's not Lamborghinis, it's fish oil and balance tests. So you can imagine the volume. I'm super proud of that. I'm super proud of this company and what it stands for, because it knows that to be in business, if you can solve not just a problem, but one of the world's biggest problems, and I'm saying this very intentionally, if you can solve one of the world's biggest problems, look at all these magazines, it's everywhere. Everyone is talking about how chronic inflammation is the underlying root cause of almost every known degenerative disease that you would know, and yet they are the only, imagine what if, and imagine you were the only known proven product solution to one of the world's biggest problems. That is what I saw here. That's what I'm excited about. And not only from the business opportunity, but the massive amounts of people that need our help. And I'm just happy to march and be on that crusade with it. So next slide. This is just kind of leading to trends. I want you to know that one of the #1 countries in the world right now that's doing amazing things for Zinzino is Germany. And a lot of the other companies you'll see in that middle circle, it just says that anytime something starts, that is what they consider a trend is when 2.5% or more of a population is doing something, talking about something, wearing that sneaker or whatever. There's what they call a pre-trend is if you're less than 2.5, about 1.5% of the population of those countries listed in that middle circle right now have been tested, had their We call it give us your favorite finger. Their finger has been pricked and they've been tested. Well, right now Zinzino is just making its way over to North America, and right now only about 60,000 people have been tested in North America, which seems like a lot until you go divide 60,000 by the 336 or 338 million people that are in the United States, and you realize that it's like 0.07. Like if you only went to one decimal point, it's basically nobody. So you can imagine the biggest world problem, health crisis, knowing that we have a proven solution and 0% of the population has been tested. We're just here to change those numbers. And if we can, and when we do, that is somewhere between a $2 to $3 billion business just in the United States of America alone. So I really don't know what opportunity would look like more than that one. And all we're trying to do is get ahead of the curve. And we're certainly ahead of the curve here in Canada. I'm coming to you from Calgary, Alberta, and our numbers are less, but obviously just our cause is real. And we just are having evenings like this because my desire is to go get a billion bodies back in balance. And if that just happens to be someone on a consumer standpoint, a customer, no problem. But if you're someone who goes, hey, I want to be a part of a cause, I want to be a part of a conscious brand, I'd love to figure out a way to make money online from my phone and change my circumstances, then that's worthy of a discussion as well. So I'm going to let you talk about the DSN, Barry. You're muted.
Most industries have my dog was going wild here. She just had a bath. So I had to mute. Most companies, most business models have some degree of counterbalances, balances and systems that sort of take statistical analysis and not govern, but steer the path of where things are heading and evaluate market trends. These are some of the top direct selling companies in the world. And here's some things that sets Zinzino apart. Number one, if you look at that number down the bottom, 81% growth. We are the fastest growing company in the direct selling industry, period. There is nobody growing as fast as us right now. Well, why do you think that is? Number one, people want a test-based nutrition model. They want to know what they're putting their hard-earned money to is actually going to work. That's critical. And they want to know that down the road, it's going to be proven. They're not going to have to, wonder, am I spending this and is it going to work for me long term? We already know. The other part of business is timing. Well, I think you would know if you're able to start something at the beginning in the early stages. Now, this has got the history of a 20-year-old model, which it's a 20-year-old company. It's publicly traded, another phenomenal thing in my regard, because they have a fiduciary responsibility to report every 3 months. So they're not going broke. So number one, they've already got a 20-year history everywhere but North America. Well, that's great for us because this is where our home is. And when you see that so few people know about this already, that provides opportunity for the rest of us to cash in on what Ariana said was a 1 billion at a minimum forward progress over the next few years. And that spot you see where the arrow is pointing is the sweet spot in the industry. The foundation's been set, the model's working, it's duplicating, and the demand is growing all the time. What if somebody that doesn't know what we're learning today? Why wouldn't you want to tell them this if it could save someone's life? And I'm not making health claims. I'm just saying the facts are that most of our inflammatory chronic illnesses are coming as a result of inflammation at the cellular level. And if we can address that problematic concern from the outset, does that not let us have a fighting chance to maybe do a little bit better and have a quality of life after all these years working into our retirements? Next slide. So getting started, this is all about the business, guys. We have several ways we can get in, and we've just started remodeling our slides. So we select a partner kit. So we have, I think, 3 or 4 partner kits available right now, starting at $199 all the way up to $1,200 US. So that's the range, $199 up to $1,200 US. And here's what we suggest to you: get in where you fit in. Get in the model that works best for you. Having said that, remember, we are a test-based company. So what should you stock your shelves with, your virtual shelves at home? Probably a few tests and some extra oils so that you have some stock on hand. So for me, I got in with the $1,200 kit because I got 10 oils and I got 10 blood tests, and that let me take my closest friends, family, or relatives, and folks that really mean something in my life at a high priority to get them tested right away and share the news of what we have to show them with test-based nutrition. You can get your products free. That's what we love in this industry. Free products. Who doesn't love free? All you have to do if you wanted a free product is refer 4 customers. Well, guess who my first 4 customers were? Me, because I have me, my wife, I have 2 adult children, and there's 4 right there in my own household. 4 people in my own household, all getting the oil every month, gets me my oil for free right out of the gate. So I think that's value. We call it Zinzino for free. Earning potential. This is probably my favorite slide because I am a huge believer in if I believe in something that I'm promoting and I'm actively telling people about, I do want to get paid. I think we all deserve to be paid for the referral. I think it's ludicrous that you send somebody to a business, the business gains money, and there's not even an appetizer in it for me. Come on, I want an appy. So give me something. So the partner plan, lucrative extras ranked, you can get a upsell bonus paid for here. Ariana just hit a rank that's referred to as diamond in our company. She now gets €200 a month as a cell phone bonus, and she gets 1,100 or €1,000 a month in a car bonus. And guess what? 6 of the months minimum a year, they double those numbers. So it turns to 400 and €2,000. That's €2,400 just out of 2 simple bonuses. You can earn team commissions between 10 and 15% on your network of online stores, meaning all the people that are in your business model. Title bonuses. That's right. We have ranks and titles here that we celebrate. Unlike your jobs where you aren't likely to get a promotion, and if you do, they come with maybe a small raise, but a lot more responsibility. Here, there isn't. That's not the same. Here, you do the same work, you get a rank raise, and we pay you for it with no questions asked. You don't have to ask for a raise here. We give you, you earn your own. Customer acquisition bonuses help your partners get customers, just like we mentioned the Z for free. They earn, you earn. You show somebody how to do things. We model it. It's duplicatable. Think of it like a franchise model. How many of us have ever been to a Chick-fil-A or a Subway or even McDonald's? Those are franchise models. You expect to get similar things at each location. Well, we have that type of a model here. It's duplicatable. Mentor matching bonus. My favorite bonus of all bonuses is the mentor matching bonus. Why? Because I get paid to help you. Ariana gets paid to help you. Valda, Pauline, Win, Chas, we all get paid to help people. If I help you get what you want, I get a little more piece of the pie between 5 and 25%. I'll give you an example. If you or somebody like Chastity in her previous endeavors was involved in a company where she was making multiple 6-figure monthly incomes, and if you were the person who was sponsoring Chastity, so you brought them into the business and you were getting a 25% check match on her business, and it was multiple 6 figures, add that up. 100 grand would be 25,000 to you. 200 grand would be 50,000 to you just for helping Chastity reach her goals. I don't know another business in the world that says, help somebody take your job and we'll pay you for it. To me, that makes the best sense of anything. And then volume commissions. This is for the baller, the high income earners, an extra little bonus pool for the people who are really going for it. And you can get an extra 1 to 4%. Ariana, take this last couple slides home and we'll wrap it up.
Well, thanks, Ferry, for that. Just, there's lots of ways to get involved. And what they want to make sure is that by doing so, that you can be rewarded. I think with any decision we make in life, there's like, what's the risk? What's the reward? And can I do this? And is it real? So for the bigger packs, like Barry is talking about, I just wanted to have more inventory on hand. I wanted to be able to share it with people. But if you do, the idea is to come in whatever way fits you, like come as you are, and the different ideally packs that fit where you're at right now. And then you get on some product, you share it with some friends, and they're going to pay you accordingly. I mean, that's it. The numbers will vary depending on all of that. But it's like, try it, share it, try it, love it, share it is really kind of the concept of that. But since we do have Chastity on, you talked about making kind of baller money. Not only is Chastity an amazing business testimonial because she's been in this space and I want you guys to know that every industry has what they call their one percenters. Barry and Chastity both would be considered one percenters in this world of social selling and social sharing and networking. They've done extremely well, like life-changing income, life-changing stories of what this industry has done for them. But Chastity also has a story herself on the oil. But Chast, with coming from both of those spaces, I'd love for you to kind of wrap this up on and why you're here in your own experience.
Thank you, Ariana. I clearly couldn't run the slideshow and multitask. So thank you for that introduction. For people will know I can do a little more than just run a slideshow. But I'll tell you, I will be 50 this year, and I am an abuela, one of my greatest titles that I have the privilege to wear. And over the last several months, I've been struggling with being able to absorb some iron that the doctor said you absolutely have to have. And so I thought I'm going to test well. I was excited about this test. Came out with a 37-1, and I am that girl that snuck in there and opened up the Christmas presents a little too soon. I waited about 70 days and retested. I also postponed some very expensive doctor's appointments and infusions until I got on the oil for at least that 65, 70 days. And I'm happy to report that I'm at a 5-1, 37-1 to now a 5-1. What I know about this industry is that when you are able to put results like this in front of people, it's a game changer. So you heard the question, is the time right? Well, the time is absolutely right now for you to get back with a person that trusted us to present to you tonight. Your message should be going to them right now. Be texting them right now as I'm still talking and let them know, how do I test? How do I find out that number that can absolutely be critical? In 2022, my life was impacted by cardiovascular traumatic loss. And so it's now become a moral obligation to tell everybody that I need your favorite finger because your body is going to tell you what it needs, what it wants, and what it's lacking. The opportunity side, we just say, hey, if you've got some extra debt that you want to knock off in today's economy, let's partner for 6 months. Let's see what we can do to make the world a better place. And that's by testing in a billion people. And it's two dry blood spots at a time. And so maybe you saw the health side, you saw the business side, but collectively you just want to know a little bit more. Message that person. They're going to get you in a three-way chat. Don't feel obligated. It's just no expectation, but we just want to answer your questions specifically. I can't thank Barry and Ariana tonight for just allowing me the privilege to share the stage. And then to our partners, all of you that are on here and that trusted us with your guests tonight. We hope we made you proud. We hope your phone has blown up because people want to know that number and they want to know how can we just add a little more wiggle room into our budget. So with that, thank you for joining us tonight. This concludes our session. And if you missed this or have people that want to get the recording, we can share that with you too. All right. Good night, everyone. Till next time.
Thanks so much. Thanks, Chas. Bye, everyone.
Bye, all.